on here. Cat. Can you hear me? You hear?
Yes.
Hey,
Yes, can you hear me?
sorry. I see you pop in here and pop on, pop on, pop on. What's up? How you doing?
Oh, I'm good. How are you?
Doing very, very well.
I've been watching you for like a year and a half,
I mean,
and I can't even express like the appreciation I have. Just you make me laugh so much. Oh my gosh.
you see, I've been making myself laugh because I don't know if it's like the narcissism to be making the jokes. I don't know what it is, but it just comes out of nowhere. I just
It's
say that.
so on point though for like my ex. I'm not even kidding. Like you have me in tears some days crying, laughing because it's so on point.
Yeah.
Oh my
Heal-
God.
Healing through humor. That's why I say heal through humor. You know.
Yes. But so I came on because I don't see a lot of this talked about and I don't even know how to say what I want to say, but basically I was with someone for 18 years
Okay.
and prior to that I was with an overt narcissist and I knew he was because I actually have a degree in psychology. So I think I just kind of segued into a covert narcissistic relationship, if that makes sense, because I was already kind of traumatized from the first one. Um, and long story short, I ignored lots of red flags. I fell for like the hoovering, the reverse hoovering. Like I fell for all of the tricks. We ended up having two daughters, and I ended up just staying for the kids. And I got very zombie like, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just like I knew what he was, and I got to a place where I didn't care anymore. And I just ignored everything. I didn't question him anymore, like because I had already been lied to so much. It was just exhausting. Um, Cheated on, like I ignored everything looking back, but I had the girls and like I didn't want to basically have to go through court again because I had already gone through that once with my older son. And so I just stayed for the kids and I didn't want to separate and go through all that again. And then like put my kids with him and his family's influence, if that makes sense. They're just not good people.
Yeah.
And so the conundrum I'm in now is like kind of already having that experience and then getting all the knowledge from your videos and like YouTube and everything else. It aligns so much, but I'm feeling guilt because we separated and I have these daughters and like he hasn't tried to go to court and he hoovered for like 6 months. And then when I finally was like, I'm done because he accused me of wanting to have sex with Jesus, like, I'm not even kidding you. I was like, okay, I'm done. Um, that was it for me. Like, I finally put my foot down, like, you're out of here. And that's when he started asking to see the kids. Like, he didn't up until that point, if that makes sense. And so knowing that, like, and he hasn't taken me to court,
Yeah.
I feel guilty because I'm kind of the alienating parent right now, if that makes sense. And I don't see a lot on it where it's like the person's a narcissist and they're bad for your kids. And when he has had them, they come home, they say all kinds of crazy stuff that he said or done or and so I don't know if I'm making sense, but
No, I mean,
basically like
I know what you're saying.
I feel like I'm alienating him and I'm feeling guilty for it, even though I know ultimately they're better off for that. And that sounds
How
horrible.
do you feel like the alienated if he's not making the effort to see him? I know you just said when you finally decided to cut loose, he decided just you know what, time to be a dad. You know, I just feel like in that
All of a
situation,
sudden. Yeah.
yeah, all of a sudden he's just like, you know what, you don't. So you don't want me back? You're like, no, like I want to be a dad.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah. And it cycles between like he'll ask to get the girls and then he'll get them like maybe once every couple weeks.
yeah.
And then it'll be like, oh, the moon is pretty tonight, like you, or you know what I mean? Like it.
So that shows you right there that the target is you. I just feel like I'm not saying he doesn't love your kids or care about your kids, but I just feel like a lot of times they use the kids as to target you. It's just like, oh, the moon is, the moon has divots, or the moon, the moon has curves like you do. You know, just like some
Yes.
some wildness right there, just kind of flirt. Because I don't know if you started dating or moved on. I don't know how
Mm-mm.
well that will go. You know, I don't think he would be. It sounds like he might be the type just like, don't have nobody around my damn
Oh yeah,
kids.
he threatened to kill me. He threatened to kill me. When we were still together, he was like, if you ever have somebody with my kid, I'll fucking kill you and him. Like it was a threat, like a yeah.
But take
So
take those threats seriously because sometimes they do snap. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But
Yeah.
also, there's like the way you take those threats seriously is to document when he says wild stuff like that. Honestly,
Yeah.
because
Well,
then
I mean, like we've been apart for a year and a half now. And
yeah,
the reason I haven't moved on is not because of him. It's just
yeah, you know,
I'm
take
working
your
on
time.
me.
Yeah, because take your time because like I mean, you were saying you were with him for 18 years, right? But then you said prior to that you had an overt narcissist and he was covert. But so that happens all the time where you have one type of
Okay.
narcissist and you end up with a different type because they're not the same. You're like, oh, he's quiet and cool. My other ex was just loud,
Oh,
boisterous.
oh yeah.
He got on my damn nerves, you know. So you have this quiet, cool person, and they just covert
Mm-hmm.
narcissistic as hell. You see what I'm saying? It gets into
Yeah.
that space right there where it happens all the time. So when you're ignoring red flags, it's just like, well, there's not the same red flag. They red-ish. Like they look red-ish to me. Like
Yeah.
my overt ex had this super red flag. They were bright red, you know, and crimson. But these right here, they kind of orange. They look, you know, it's just like it's still red. It's a shade of red, but it's different because it's a different type of narcissistic person. So that
Yes.
does happen quite a bit in toxic relationship space. It just does. You know what I mean? Because you're looking for something different. Like I don't want a loud, boisterous ass person anymore. So you find somebody quiet and introverted, and they just as toxic. It's just a different way. You know, and that but
Yeah.
that
Yeah. Yeah.
but like
Very charming and like,
yeah,
nice to everybody else, but then
but you're
neglectful for
not
all of
like.
us.
But I said I don't. It doesn't sound like you're an alienating parent. It just sounds like it doesn't sound like he wants to take care of the kids. It just sounds like he just wants to remain relevant in your life. You know
I
what I
mean,
mean?
I'm smart enough to know, like, well, see, and this sounds so bad, but like, there's been times where he has asked to get them. Like, okay, I'll put it to you like this: if he were able to submit text in court, it would look like I'm the alienating parent because I realize that he is trying to get my daughters as a hoovering technique for me.
Oh.
Um, and
So
so
when it
there
gets
are times where I'm like, I just flat out ignore him
yeah,
about getting them. And so it's making me feel bad because I feel like I'm not doing the right thing, even though deep down I
there's
feel
no
like I
court order.
am.
There's no court.
No,
Oh,
no. And if it were flipped, I would have been to court in a hot minute to get my children. He hasn't. It's been a year and a half.
I feel like there's a unique difference between alienating and protecting your kids. I just feel like if he's not interested in being a parent, I just feel like that's totally different than alienating. It's just like it's not like he's dangerous too. It's just like if he snaps and I'm gonna take their life. You know, he could snap. He really could. You know, if he's saying stuff like that, making those types of threats, he absolutely could just lose his damn mind. You know what I mean? Especially because you're not gonna
Right.
be single forever. He could lose his damn mind and just go ballistic. You know what I mean? Even though he was cheating, doing all this other shit during the marriage, he
Mm-hmm.
could just lose his mind. You know what I mean? But I also feel like in these situations, in these scenarios, he does get tied up with his line of thinking, and so it's like linear. It's just like he's just wild. It's just wildness. It really, really is. So I just feel like you have to kind of stick strong to your boundaries, and I just said, start watching what you text to him because he could he use it against you later. You just never know. You
I
know.
don't text him at all. Like I literally don't respond unless I'm saying yes, you can get them, and I'll say like what time, they'll be ready or whatever. Other than that, like the moon is pretty like you. I don't respond to that. I mean, just yesterday he said I broke him as a man.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like he doesn't know who he is anymore, and I broke him as a man, and I'm like,
But
what?
it sounds like you ever seen the cartoon horse movie Spirit? He sounds like he's Spirit. Like you broke the buck. You know what I mean? It's just like buck, broke the horse. Yeah, it's just
Oh
like
my God, that's so
broke
funny.
man, you tamed me. Like man, get the hell out of here. It just like gets into those spaces though. I do feel like so when you say when he does have your kids, does he text you more? I'm pretty sure he texts you more when he does have your kids, doesn't he?
He does, yeah, he does. Or like he'll be like, they'll
Because
come home and be like, Dad said, "What's your mom doing?" And does she
yeah,
still have her rings on? Initially, he was
exactly.
asking.
And the reason I say that because exactly because he knows when he has your kids, you have free time. In his mind, he's probably thinking the ways that he can sleep with. He's thinking the ways you. He's like, oh, somebody's getting her right now. I gotta text her. I gotta. know what I'm saying? This is what goes into his head. It's like, I got the kids. She's by herself. Hell no. Hey, he's blowing you up. The moon is, the moon is pretty. And for some reason, I just started howling at it. I'm a wolf now. It's just like, you broke me as a man. So I'm a werewolf.
I can't.
It's silly.
Yeah.
It's silliness. But like, seriously, in his mind, when he has your kids, I promise you, he's thinking that you're doing something else, which is why he probably texting you trying to say.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I mean, I started going to church afterward, like after we split up, and he accused me of like messing with a pastor. I'm like, are you for real? Like, I've never, ever, ever stepped out on him, ever.
He said accuse you of sleep with Jesus? I don't know how that was supposed to work.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because it was like my first boundary. Yay, me. But I was like, you're not touching me, because I found out he cheated. Someone reached out to me and told me he cheated. And so that was like my first boundary, like, don't even touch me. And he was like, well, how long until I can? And I was like, I'll wait till Jesus comes back. Like, I don't need to do that. I'm strong. Like, I don't need that.
So he heard Jesus comes and he was like, oh, hell no.
He was like, oh, were you going to F Jesus? Like, that's literally what he said. And I'm like, you know what? Get out of here. I'm so done. Like, it just.
He heard Jesus comes and he's just like, you know what? I don't trust you. I don't trust you to pray with your eyes closed anymore.
Can you even pray? Jesus. I mean, when you're jealous of Jesus.
Jesus got a 6-pack and bench press 300 pounds. The mind, I'm telling you, the mind does work super weird when you're doing all this stuff. I promise you. You know what I mean? It does work super wild in these situations. It really, really does. I'm just telling you, like, you do have to protect your kids. You really, really do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, I had an attorney suggest, like, making a consistent schedule with him. And I mean, like, that does sound like the right thing to do, but at the same time, I don't feel like it is.
I would say, how old are your kids?
14 and 11. So,
okay.
like,
I would just say you can maybe offer it up. But it doesn't mean he's going to stick to it, because, like, I promise you, when you offer it up, he's thinking that you're offering this schedule so you can plan your free days. Oh, you want Fridays free? You know what I mean? It is like you don't have Saturdays free to go to the bar, don't you? I'm just telling you, that's the way the mind goes, because he would do it. That's what he's thinking. That's what he's doing. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Yes. That's what he's thinking. For real, in his mindset. It really, really is just how the dynamic goes. So I just feel like give yourself some. I always tell people, give yourself some space and some grace, because you gotta get away from the situation and heal, because like he really is going to mess with you.
Right. Well, I won't hog up the time here, but I appreciate it.
I appreciate you coming on. Like, seriously, thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
All right, be safe. Take care of yourself. Praying for you. Seriously. Can I pray for you without you getting accused of cheating? Is it okay to pray for you? It's just like
I'm all good with it.
Okay. All right. Be safe. Thank you. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much for making it to the end of my video, y'all. Thank you for watching all the way through. I'm eternally grateful for you. If you haven't already, you made it this far, you might as well go and hit this subscription button, y'all. Turn on the notifications so we can reach more people. Help me reach more people and whatnot. The self-love brand is available as well. Link is in the description of every single video I do, y'all. I'm aware this is the I Love Me brand. The self-love journal is also available too, y'all. I have a weekly newsletter that goes out as well. If you haven't, check in to join the channel memberships for some behind the scenes access and more perks and things like that, y'all. Thank you so much. Mental Illness is out. Peace.